Okay, so this is part 2 of lesson 3.3, and I want to go through. We have R is the puppy is trained, puppy behave. P is the puppy behaves well. Q, the owners are happy. Okay, so it says here to do a truth table, but I want to do this first. The if not Q, then P. Okay, so we're going to do a convert it like we did the last one. Okay, so now this would be, how would we write this out? If what? Q is his owners are happy, but this is not Q, right? So then we would write this if what? If his owners, yeah, good, are not happy, comma, then what? The puppy behaves well, yeah. The puppy behaves well. Okay? Questions with that? All right, so let's do a truth table with this, which is actually what this question here is asking. Okay? So we're going to do a truth table now. So we put up here P, Q, if not Q, then P. Okay? And we always start off with true, 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 false, false, true, false, false. Okay? All right. So we're saying here, not Q. Well, if Q is true, then not Q is what? False. And P, we said that's true. So we're saying if false, then true. Remember now, the only one that's false is right here. So is that going to be true or false? That's true. That is true. Good. Okay. So if Q is false, then not Q is true. And we said P is true. So if true, then true is, that's true. That's an easy one, right? Okay, now we're saying if Q is true, then not Q is false again, right? And P, what's that going to be? P is false, right? So we're saying if false, then false is, remember now, the only one that's false is if true, then false. So this one is true. Good. And if Q is false, then not Q is true. And what about P? False. So if true, then false is false. That's the only one that's false, right? And so this is our answer here in red. Any questions with that? Okay. Let's try the next one. So I'm just going to leave this left side intact because it's always the same. It never changes. Okay, so now we're saying not, oh. Okay, this one's got an S in it. So I'm going to have to change it then. So now we're talking about S and Q, not P. All right, so that means we've got, change it to the board. That means we're going to put in here S instead of P and Q. So we're working with S and Q, okay? And we've got not if, not S, then, parentheses, not S. And what's that rooftop looking symbol? What's this? Is that and or? It's and, right? So we're going to write and up here. We're going to write and. Just to remind us, okay? And it's the same. True, 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 false, false, true, false, false, okay? The only difference is we're using us instead of P. Okay. Where are we going to start first? We're going to start here. This is a not. Let me make that a better looking not. This is a not. There. Not S. Okay, so where do we start? We start with the not S, or are we going to start inside the parentheses? Yeah, we always start with the parentheses. Can we go ahead and put the cell phones away? Please. Appreciate it. Okay, so here S is true, then not S is false. All right, and Q is true, so that's true. So false and true is going to be what? True or false? Remember now, with and, they both have to be true, right? Yeah, so it's false. Okay, put a dot there. So if S is true, then not S is, if S is true, yeah, then not S is false. So now we're saying if false, then false is, remember now, the only one for if then is, the only one that's false for if then is if true then false. All the others are true. So if false then false is true. The if then is the only one that's going to give you a true statement for when they're both false. Okay? All right. So let's look at this next one here. If S is true, then not S is what? If S is true, then not S is true or false? False. Q is what? Is that true or false? False. So we're saying here, false and false is false, right? Put it out there. So if S is true, then not S is false again. Oops. Okay. So we're looking at if false, then false is what? True. Good. All right. So go ahead and finish up the rest of that. And I'm going to get attendance here real quick. So go ahead and do your best with the rest of that. Okay. I'm just going to call the people that did not check. All right. Lamonte, Carr is not here. Tyree, Corbin not here. Joey, Fuller, not here. Gilbert, Ahmad, Gilbert not here. Darian, Darian is here. And Joel's here, right? Hutchison? Yeah. Okay. So I saw a little bitty check there, so Ali Juan, is that right? Moore? I pronounced correct? Oh, okay. Joel, Joyel, Nichols, I'm here. Kenneth Patterson, I'm here. Have a Shania Stead, I'm here. Jasmine White, I'm here. Anybody I did not call? Okay. Everybody else checks, so I don't call on them. Just the ones that didn't check. Okay, so let's see how we did. So S is false, so not S is true, right? Q is true, so true and true is what? True, good. Put a dot there. Okay, so S is false, so not S is what? True. So we're saying if true, then true is true. That's an easy one, right? Okay, so now we're looking at if S is false, not S is true again. If Q is false, Q is false. So we're saying true and false is what? Okay, false. So since S is false, not S is true again. So we're saying if true, then false is what? False. Good. Okay? Questions there. And that's your truth table. Okay? All right. So on the homework for the test, really all they're going to show, a lot of times, all they're going to show is that, the answer. So what you're going to have to do is draw out your truth table and then check to see which one it is. All right? What? Yeah, on the homework and on the test, yeah, and the quizzes too. Homework, you should already have done 3-1, 3-2, 3. So as we do the lessons, you should be doing the homework. Okay? But I'm not going to start putting zeros until the test day. Once the test is due, which is on the 28th, after that day, homework's not done, I start putting zeros. And then if you want to make it up, you only get one chance after that. Right now, you got unlimited chances. What's that?
It's not the same on the board. It's not the same.
All right. Well, let's.
You do from like from the older.
Yeah. All right, we can do that. Well, I mean, this is what I was saying here, is that what the homework's going to show is the final answer. You have to do the rest of this. The homework just shows this. So what you have to do is you have to fill in the rest of it. All the homework's going to show is what the final column is. All right. So you got to do all this, and then look to see which answer you choose. Okay. All righty. What's that? Well, I mean, if you have questions with the homework, you can come see me. meth lab. But the homework problems are pretty much like this. All right, not much different.
Is it required for us to go to those math labs? Because I have math labs on Wednesday. I've been told I don't have to go to those.
Not unless you really need it, unless you've got questions and stuff like that. If you're getting this stuff, you don't need to go. At least not yet. Now, once we do the progress reports or the study plans, then it becomes, if a student is put on the study plan, then it's required. All right. Okay. All right. So now, now we're going to get, like, come on now. This, now this might be more like what you're talking about, right? All right, so let's take a look at one of these. Okay, now we're back to using P and Q again, right? So here's P, Q, and this time we've got parentheses, not P. Now what is this symbol here? The V looking symbol, what is that? Or, yeah, good. So we're saying here, if not P or not Q, then it is not the case. P, and what's the upside down looking V looking symbol? And, right, or that's Q. Q and P. Okay, so this is what we've got, right? So it helps if we put or and up there, okay? Because that's going to remind us to do one or the other. All right, so now we've got true, 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 false, false, true, false, false. Okay. All right, what do we do first? A lot going on here, right? What do we do first? Inside what? The parentheses, right? Inside the parentheses. So we're going to go inside this parentheses first. So we've got not P. So if we got P is true, right? Then not P is what? Not P is false. Good. And if Q is true, then not Q is also false. So false or false is false. Good. Put a dot there. Okay, so now we're going to go to the other parentheses. So here it's just Q, right? Well, Q is true, so we put a true there for Q. And P, that's also true, so we put a true there. So true and true is true, but we got a not symbol here. So if this is true, then not true is what? False, right? Put a dot there. So now we're saying if false, then false is what? For if then, the only one that's false is what? Yeah, it's true, right? Because the only one that's false is if true, then false. So this is true. Let me use a different color. Make it stand out a little more. I'll use red again. Okay. Let's look at the next one. So, not P. Well, if P is true, then not P is false. If Q is false, then not Q is true. Good. So false or true is what? False or true? True. We only need one or the other, right? Put a dot there. Okay, so now Q is false. P is true. So false and true is false. Yeah. You see why I put and or here? Because here we only need one or the other, whereas here we need both to be true, right? So you got to be really careful because you're switching gears pretty quick. All right. So this is false. So now we're saying that this is false, then not false is what? True. So we're saying if true, then true. We're saying if true, then true is what? True. Okay? Questions? All right. I want you to go ahead and do the next row. All right, go ahead and try that. Yeah. Yeah, the final answer is the arrow. So you're doing the parentheses, right? Parentheses, but then this has got a not outside of the parentheses, so this one is going to be one of the things that you're going to look at. So this one, the or, right, that's, you're going from that to the not statement to get this, the arrow for your final answer.
So you're going to the or, not statement.
You're going, yeah, exactly. You're going from the or, if the or statement to the not statement. That is right. Okay? All right, go ahead and give that a shot. All right. Let's see how we did. Okay, so we start with not P, right? Since P is false, then not P is what? True. And since Q is true, then not Q is false. All right, good. So we're saying true or false is true, right? Because you only need or, you only need one or the other, right? So that's true. Okay, put a dot there. All right, so now we go to the other parentheses. Q, we said, is what? True. Q is true. P is false. Good. So now we're saying true and false is false. Good. So if that's false, then the not is, if this is false, if the and is false, then the not is true. Good. So put a dot there. Okay, so now we're saying if true, then true is true. That's an easy one, right? Okay, how'd we do? Kind of struggling still? No? Yes? No? All right, let's go ahead and try that last one. Go ahead and try that last one on your own. Good? Oh, let me see if I can get this darn. There we go. That's better. Yes, question.
So if it's or, then it's basically the opposite of what's on my left side.
With the or, you only need one or the other. Or. You need P or Q. You only need one, but with and you gotta have both true in order for it to be true. Okay? Alright, thank you. Alright. Getting a little easier. That's good. Okay, let's see how we did. Okay, so P is false, then not P is true again, right? Good. Q is false, then not Q is true. Good. So true or true is true. Good. Put a dot there. Okay, so let's go to the other parentheses. Q is false, so we put a false there. P is false, put a false there. So false and false is what? False. So therefore the not statement is true. What? How do we know? Because we do inside the parentheses first, right? But the not is opposite of whatever the and is. So since and is false, then we got to do true. If this not statement was not here, then we would just look at or and. But because of the not statement, we have to figure out what the opposite of what this is. So now this is true. If true, then true is true. Right. How'd we do? Is that one better? Did we do better on that one? Okay. Now, when we have all true, okay, so now the homework, right? All it's going to show is this, right? All you're going to see is that. So you got to work out all this other stuff here. Now, when it's all true, true, what is that called? It starts with a T. Well, a little more than true. T-A. What? Tautology. Good. It's called a tautology. When they're all true, that is a tautology. All right? Questions there? All righty. So we're getting there. It just takes practice. Okay. So we good? Can we go on to the next one? All righty. So I'm going to just do on top of this one here. So we're looking at P and Q again. So here's P, Q, and for instance, go ahead and try to do this D on your own while I'm doing this. Now P, then Q. Now we've got a conditional statement inside the parentheses, right? And we've got an or in the other one. Okay, so this is true. All right, so this is what we've got, right? Okay. So what do we do first? Inside the parentheses. Good. So if this is not P, if P is true, then not P is false. Good. In Q, that's true. So we're saying if false, then true is true. Very good. That's true. Put a dot there. Okay, so now P is true, right? Not Q. If Q is true, then not Q is false. So we're saying, and this means what? This V looking symbol means or, right? Good. So we're saying true or false is True. Good. So now we're saying if true, then true is true. Good. Questions? Okay, let's try the next one. If P is true, then not P is false again. Good. Q is going to be what? False. Good. So now we're saying if false, then false is true, right? Because the only one that's false is if true, then false, right? Yeah. So the conditional statement is the only one where they're both false and you can still end up being true. Okay, so P is true, not Q. If Q is false, then not Q is true. Good. So true or true, that's easy. That's a true. So now we're saying if true, then true is true again, right? That's an easy one. Okay, try the next line on your own. Go ahead and try that. You're comparing that arrow, the conditional with the for. So inside parentheses, right, you got, this should be a exclusion here. This is, that's not P, right? So you put not P, if P is true, then not P is false, and Q is true, right? So you're saying, true, if true, then true would be true, right? So you're comparing. So you're always comparing this with this. Okay? And that's your final answer right there. Good. Alrighty. Let's see how we did. Okay, very good. Okay, so if P is false, then not P is what? True, okay. And should be using, this is true. And then Q, we said that's true. So if true, then true, that's true. That's easy, right? All right, put a dot there. And P is false, good. Not, if Q is false, then not, or no, I'm up here. True. So true, false or true is or, right? True. Because it's or, right? Yeah, so if true, then true is true. Good.
Wait. I don't know, wait.
Wait, did I mess up? Hold on.
True, and you put not was true.
Okay, P is false, then not P is true, right? Q is true, so if true, then true is true. Okay? And then P is false, so that's false. Okay? And not Q, okay. You got me on that one. You got me on that one. So that's false. All right, good eye. Okay, so false or false, that would be false, right? Okay, good catch. All right, so that's going to change things, right? Because if true, then false, that's what? False, good. That's the only one that's false, right, for conditional statements. Okay. Any other questions there? Okay, so if P is false, then not P is true. And Q, that's false. So if true, then false is, if true, then false is false, right? That's the only one that's false for conditional. Okay, P is false. Not Q is true. So false or true is true. Good. So we're saying if false, then true is true. Good. Questions? Okay. Good work. Okay. So took some doing, right? But we're getting there. All right. Let's look at circuits. Logic can be used to design electrical circuits. All right. Now, I used to be an aviation electronics technician in the Navy. Okay, one of my jobs, one of my hats that I had. So this goes along pretty well with actually how electronic circuits work. And one thing in A school, what we used to call like beginning school for electronics, A school, they used to tell us, well, look at electron circuits like water flowing in pipes. And that's how electrons flow basically the same way. So if in order for you to get a complete circuit, in other words, if you had a battery on one end and a light bulb on the other and it came back around, the only way you could get the light to light is if both P and Q were closed. So this would be synonymous with and. So we're saying here that with P, Q, this would be the same thing as if we said P and Q, because both of them would have to be closed if you had a battery here, right? And a light bulb here. And the only way you could get that, and then this could come back around, this could come back around this way, let's say. Let's do that. The only way the light bulb could light, this is a battery. The only way light bulb could be light is if both of them were closed. So this, that would be true for closed, true for closed. So the only way you get that light bulb to light is if both of them were closed. So true and true. Okay, so series circuits is the same thing as and statements. Okay, and because they both have to be closed. P and Q have to be closed in order for the light to work, to turn on. Parallel circuits, that's the same as or, because you only need one or the other closed in order for the light to light. So in other words, back on. So in other words, if we had P, Q like this, okay, and here's your light bulb again, right? And here's your battery. Okay? In order for it to come around, you only need one or the other. So this would be P or Q. Because if this one's closed, right, if this is closed, then your light will light. Or if the other one is closed, if this is open and the other one's closed, then it would still light. So you only need one or the other closed in order to get your light bulb to light. Okay, so that's or. So parallel, these are known as parallel circuits. Okay, parallel. So parallel is the same as or, series circuits is the same as and. Okay, questions with that? All right, so let's look at, so let's put that on the board. P, Q, P, and Q. Q, P, or Q. Okay? All right, so let's look at this problem here. Now, what you're going to have on the homework and the test is you're going to have a drawing like this one. And you're going to have to tell what is being stated here. So, let's look at the board. Okay. So if we have this, yeah. And we have, this is P, and this is Q, and this is R. Okay? All right, I always like to do the parallel first. Right? In this case, I would do the parallel first. So this would be Q, and this is an R. And is this going to be and or? It's or, right? So it's a V-looking symbol. Now the P is in series. So is this going to be and or here? And. So that would be your answer. Okay? So what you're going to be given is you're going to be given this picture, and you're going to have 4 different circuits to answer from. Okay? Questions there? What? You don't get it? Okay, if we just looked at this, right? This is like this, right? Q and only it's Q and R, not P and Q, right? So you would have, because there's Q, R, and P, right? You would put this in parentheses because these two go together. Okay, Q and R go together, so you put it in parentheses. Okay, and the P. Okay, we good now? Okay, awesome. What? So this is your answer here. All right, that's all you got to do. So you don't have to do a truth table. The or came from the fact that these are parallel.
Oh, so they're parallel.
If they're parallel, it's or. If they're in series, it's and.
Oh.
The P is in series with these two. Okay, so that's what I was saying with this, or right, with the P and Q back. Okay. All right, let's try another one. Now this one you have already drawn out. I'm going to draw it. This is, and then we have, okay, and we have not P, Q, not R. Okay. Let's do these, the Q and the not R, they're together, right? So we're going to go ahead and put them first. So Q and not R, is that an and or statement? We're just looking at these two. Are they in series or parallel? Q and not R. They're in series, right? So it's and, right? These two are and. Because they're in series. Q and R are in series, right? Now, these two are they parallel or in series with the not P? So now we're looking at not P, right? Yeah, they're parallel. So that means is this and or? Or. And that's your answer. Okay, that's your answer. All right? Questions there? We good? We need to see another one?
I'll get it now.
We got it? Okay, awesome. As long as you recognize that when they're in the same line, they're in series. If they're in two separate lines, they're parallel. Okay, good. Okay, so